Thank you very much. Welcome to the second session, dealing with strategies of higher purpose leaders. Let's read the Word of God about the higher purpose. Let's read the book of Psalms. There's one thing that David says. His obituary is very simple. It's simple. It simply says, the man who served God's purposes in his generation. Psalm 20 verse 4. He's praying. Now I'm praying for you right now. May the Lord grant you according to your desires of your heart. Are you receiving that? Amen. And fulfill your purpose. May the Lord grant you whatever you desire. But more importantly, because you may desire a car, you may desire a house. Some of you are not married, may desire a beautiful wife. Some of those who are ladies may desire Mr. Right. That's fine. That's a desire for your heart. But what I'm praying for you today is that you may fulfill your purpose, particularly the higher purpose. And that's the reason why I would like to work with you today to understand how you can do that, how great leaders, how higher purpose leaders. Now I'm differentiating between great but higher purpose leaders do. What do they do? Because it's one thing for me to pray for you and say, please fulfill your purpose. But I need to give you how. Let's go through that now. Higher purpose leaders, they face reality. First of all, they do not minimize the challenges that they are facing. And you must do an honest assessment of them. Don't glibly think, we'll just overcome it. We're just going to, like what we call now, pat and pray. You pray hard. But you honestly assess the situation and the gravity of the situation. The gravity of the problem, what it will require it. And you do not just go out there and overpromise and underdeliver. If you're a business person, that's the worst thing that you're going to do. If you're getting an order, assess that order very, very well. Can I deliver on this order? So, higher purpose people, what they do, they envision the whole potential of whatever they have, the organization they have. So you assess the organization you have. You assess its people. You check who is sitting at the right place, at the right time, their talents, their gifts, their strengths, their weaknesses. We've just spent 3 days as a group executive committee of my organization. And we spent 2 days of that 3 days just dealing with people. Each individual at the senior level, at the next level, to say, do they have the right skills, the right experience, the right development program that will take them from this point to that point in order for them to reach there. You have to assess the potential. What do? They set worthy goals. And as I said to you earlier on, they set their higher purpose. And they set worthy goals, a goal that will inspire them, a goal that will make them to wake up in the morning and run. And they set it very clearly. But they also adopt a multi-pronged strategy. And they make sure that what they set that goal, they can live with it. And that is believable, that it can touch everyone. It must influence the marketplace, the workplace, and the community. So they are personal goals. And let me tell you a story when we started Excel Petroleum. And again, I need to emphasize that it is not I, but we. It was a team. But I had some kind of little, looking back now, and I had audacity. But you know, when you're starting to be in your 50s, you look back and say, that was a little bit tinged with naivety there. But that's fine. You're young. You need to actually set those audacious goals. I remember going out into the public domain. I met 2 goals there. And the first one, we didn't even have one service station. And it was 1996 when we were starting there. And I made these audacious goals, and I said, by the turn of the century, it was going. You remember the millennium time, everybody was setting millennium goals. And I went public, can you believe that? Told the whole world in the public domain that by the turn of the century, we will have 100 service stations. That was the first goal. The second one I said, that was about transformation of this industry. I went out into the public domain and I said it very loud, that this industry, the oil industry, will have 25% black ownership by a period of 10 years. Still remember, even today, one journalist wrote an article. He had a picture of me. I was a young person, and he called me David, and I called the big major oil companies Goliath. And he wrote underneath there, and he said, Hadebe must have smoked petrol fumes. I'm telling you this because higher purpose leaders said, you remember, I set the goals for the company, but I also set the goal for the industry. Are you with me? That's a difference. Whenever you must start setting your own personal goals for your family, for your wife and children, mother, and everything. I have got that. Got goals for the organization, but higher purpose for the industry. And then for you and me is higher purpose for our nation. And finally, for you and me is higher purpose for the kingdom of God. You got to have a higher purpose. You got to have something that is beyond you. If everything that you do is about you, Mina, and myself, then you are a low purpose leader. You need to be a higher purpose leader. Set goals that are beyond you. Set goals that are transcendent. Set goals that are generational. Right now, at this time of my age, the goals that I'm setting are beyond me, are the 3rd generation goals. That's higher purpose leaders do that. Now, higher purpose leaders do not compromise things that matter. You see, there are things that do not matter. As the same as one of my favorite writers, Covey, says, there are things that are important, there are things that are urgent. Now, most of our life we spend time on things that are urgent. And we spend very little time on things that are important. And you must know the difference between what is urgent and important. Because once you know what is important, you will be able to move to your higher purpose. Now, every now and again during question time, people ask me, how do you determine what is important? Now, let me answer that question before you even ask it. If you've set yourself a goal and a vision and a mission, and you've set a roadmap towards that, anything that comes is measured against that compass. Bill George calls it true north. Once you have set that, you determine what is important based on that. You determine what is unimportant based on that. So if you get an invitation to a meeting, you check it like Nehemiah. Nehemiah was building a wall, and they invited him into a networking session. And he said, no. You're going to, as you rise and become leaders, I'm telling you, my inbox is full of invitations from everything. Balls, dinners, concerts, VIP, VVIP sessions with everyone around. And I look at them. Every time I look at an invitation, does it lead me towards that goal? If yes, I attend that. If not, like today, I took even a day leave on Friday, yesterday, because this is important for me to be here. Are you with me? It determines, so you don't compromise what matters. What you do also, every person that you work with, you remember I said you're privileged to lead people? You hold them to tough standards. Now, this is a part of leadership which is very difficult in leadership. To have crucial conversation with somebody who's not pulling up his leg, his weight or her weight. Most of us do not actually are scared of telling somebody, brother, sister, we have set this target, you are falling short of that. We've said you need to submit this by this deadline, you have missed the deadline. And that is totally unacceptable. Saying it with love. And the worst mistake that you can do is not to tell people who are not performing, because you're actually stifling their potential. In fact, you hate them. If you love them, you'll tell them. Tough standards. I told you, Isfan Kapitan, the guy I was speaking about, he lifted my standard by challenging me all the time. We need to do that all the time. But be tender with them. Be tender with our people. And ensure that we engage them all the time. We'll talk later on about how you do that. Important, higher purpose leaders, they identify strategic focus. And a strategic focus is, where are we going to focus as an organization, particularly if you're a CEO and you're leading the organization? Unless it's very clear that where are we going to focus? Because trust me, if you're a leader of an organization that has no focus, you're going to be in deep trouble. I like to tell this fairy tale of a story. Some of you have heard me speaking about it, of a big race that was taking place between a tortoise and a rabbit. If I ask you right now, before we even start this race, who's going to win the race? Huh? Tell me. The rabbit. The rabbit can run very fast. A tortoise cannot run fast. It's slow. But they were supposed to run a race of 100 meters. The tortoise was smart. Realized that the only way I can win this race is to continuously distract the rabbit. So he had, on about 4 points of the race, his little kids on the side of the race. So as the race starts, the rabbit will obviously, and one of the little kids will throw an apple in front of the rabbit. And the rabbit will stop. Look at, where's the apple? Go out of the racetrack. Go and look for an apple. And the tortoise will come and pass that point. The next point, a banana, this side of the road. And the rabbit stops. Look for a banana. And then it was close to the finishing line, because after eating the banana, it remember, oh, by the way, we're racing, come back and overtake the tortoise again. At the finishing line, when it's about to finish, an orange passed, stopped before the finishing line, went and looked for the orange. And the tortoise came and won the race. What's the moral of that story? Focus. 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 There's nothing that beat that. A lot of people ask me, you're doing so many things, Khadeb. In my career, I focused in the energy industry. For the last 3 decades, that's where I have been, 27 years. But that has given me a platform to impact all other areas, because I'd focused. When some of my friends, when we were young and they were attracted, let me tell you right now, it's a good message I'm giving to you. Choose a place where you're going to focus on. And focus and stay put. And spend your time in it. I spend my time in the oil industry. A lot of my friends at that time, and it still happen even today, they got offers at Eskom, Transnet, paid twice the salary, And it was so attractive. They were jumping from one role to another to a big position. Before I know, they were big shots, driving better car than I ever done. And I thought, what's wrong with me? Are they leaving me behind? I'm slow. But somehow deep in me, there was this sense of focus. I promise you, they quickly went up. And when they were there, they were found out that there's no substance in them. And once you found out you don't have a substance, you become what we call in South Africa token black. With a big office and a big name and a big title. But you have no decision making. You've got no influence. Because everybody knows. At the slightest provocation, when a company goes down, you're the first one to be retrenched. You're an easy target to be retrenched. Why? There's no depth. There's no substance. Because you didn't focus. Right now, most of them are coming back to me and say, hey, Bramuri, Bramuri. Some of them are older than me. I'm a job. Orang ipi service station, at least in Bambi. Why? No substance. Now listen to me very carefully. And this is a very important lesson I like to teach. Many people come to a workplace and they only bring their hands. In other words, they just come to work and just do enough just not to be fired. But what you want to do as a higher purpose leader is to bring your hands, but also bring your head in the workplace where you are, whether it's your business or whether it's a company you're working for. Head means you must bring your creativity and your thinking, your intelligence. Most of the people don't even think. They just do one and the same thing. They're just waiting for the boss to come and tell them what to do. Bring your head. But more importantly, they bring their heart. So if there's anything that you must remember, is the 3 H's. Heart, head, and hands. Higher purpose leaders bring everything that they have. Heart is a passion. Building a shared commitment to excel. Now I've got one of the leaders here, Daiman. I shared with him about some few months before he took over the leadership role. Ask him after that what leadership role it is. There he is. Raise up your hands so that they can see. And I said, you need to build a shared commitment and a vision for your team. And a commitment to excel. You see, you should not be the only one that excels, but bring that commitment to excel. Build a long sense of excellent performance. You remember, Bruce has said it, leadership performance zone moves from one. You can choose. In South Africa, you can choose. It doesn't matter. Or there was a Champions League. Or Lega Chom. Sorry, now I'm speaking Zulu. The other nations can also hear me. And then you can go to PSL. Or you can go to the world, CAF. And then after CAF, you can go to the world. Choose. It's your choice. You need to build that performance. Culture that holds people accountable, you need to build that. Excellent performance. Build value for customers, employees, and communities. That's very important that you do that. When we named the company called Excel, it's because we had that sense of excellence. And I used to call people, every person who comes to the organization, and I used to call them and have a 30-minute session and says, let me tell you what is the soul of Excel. Okay, let's move on. We need to create a community of diversity. In other words, the world, I know it right now, it is very, very, diversity is the strength. And I'm not talking just diverse in terms of race, but in terms of thought, in terms of different. You run right now around a global organization. You've got people from China, India, Nigeria, Italy. It's amazing you see when you blend people and make them so diverse. It's unbelievable what you achieve. Let's move on. Learn Sisu. Say to somebody, learn Sisu. Sisu simply means, is a Finnish word which means grit. Grit. You know, when I say grit, it means you must have resilience. Higher purpose leaders have resilience. It's amazing what they can do for an organization. So resilience is number one. I'm just going to finish in there. And then be committed to the collective leadership. There's wisdom when there's a lot of people around you. Do not think that as a leader you've got monopoly of wisdom. Ask, get counsel, be advised. It's very important. Very, very important. How to become a higher purpose leader? We're going to run now very quickly. Find your anchor. There's nothing that is important as finding your own anchor. My anchor is the Lord Jesus Christ and the peace of mind that is in me. If you don't have an anchor, and my values are very clear, find your anchor. The next one, choose the teachers that teaches you well. In other words, who is mentoring you? Who is advising you? Have you got your own board of advisors? If you don't have, go and create one. Learn from experience of other people, and including yours. You don't gain experience unless you actually reflect on the mistake that you've made. Just posted something on Facebook. It says, do not spend time. You see, if I'm going to fall, I'm going to be tripped here. If there was a sense, and I'm going to fall here. Are you with me? So don't spend time checking where you fall, you fail. Check where you slipped. Are you with me? Because experience will tell you, by the time you fall, you've already been tripped somewhere. What tripped me? Then you gain experience so that you're not going to fall again. But if you concentrate on checking where you fell, you won't be able to learn. Let me conclude by saying that higher purpose leaders dream of something more than their personal family roles. They dream about their organization. They dream about their nation. They dream about how they impact the whole world. And I believe you are a higher purpose leader. And that's why you're here. Thank you.